Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus. We want to appreciate God for His faithfulness over our lives. That gradually we are coming to the end of the month of April, and He has proved faithful again and again in our lives. We are going to move on from where we stopped the last time concerning our theme for this month, maximizing marriage potentials. Today we are going to be looking at barriers, hindrance that shortchange or circumvent the purpose of God for our lives and marriage. Why, if God expects us to maximize potentials in marriage, He wants us to enjoy marriage and homes. He wants it to be exciting. Why is it that several homes and marriages fall short of expectation? And even Christian marriage, and that's what we are even talking about. We are not talking about the people on the street. We are talking about we that we are here. Why is it that several Christian homes and marriage never really fully discover and fulfill God's purpose for their lives? They never really fulfill God's purpose in their generation. Why do Christian homes, why do they grind to a halt? Why do they live a substandard quality of life and marriage that we are seeing on the streets? Why are we not maximizing the potentials of our homes and marriages? Well, that's what we are going to be looking at tonight. And the first thing we are going to be trying to see as the cause or barriers to marriage potentials is conflict. It's conflict. And I really need to define what conflict is, because see, every time we hear conflict, what we see is a negative thing. And conflict may not necessarily be negative. Actually, when we are talking about conflict, we are talking about irreconcilable differences. When we have not come to agree on a particular direction that we should follow, it really doesn't mean that we are putting pepper into each other's eyes. That's not what I mean. But that there is a disagreement. And that disagreement is affecting our moving on as homes and families. Alright? And usually, well, I don't know, but I've heard, I really don't know one marriage who has not gone through this kind of conflict. And the conflict will start from something simple to something difficult. It could start from something simple like, what are we going to eat tonight? In fact, my wife just called me a couple of minutes ago about that. And you see, why she was calling me, she may have already made up her mind on what she wants us to eat. Okay. Conflict may be as simple as that. It may be as difficult as this money. What are we going to do with this money that we have in the house now? Do we buy land? Do we buy car? It may revolve around our children, the school that the children should go. And we may have our own different opinion. But while all of this opinion is it going on, it's just that sometimes it will be so tough, it will be so hot that we can feel the heat in between us. we can feel the tension in between us. There's something that we have been doing, together before that time. A relationship that has been cordial before that time. Relationship that has been smooth before that time. Relationship that has been exciting before that time just suddenly becomes tensed up. And sometimes we could even get to the point of argument, heated argument, and all of that. And in the heat of this conflict, we really could not maximize the desire of God for our lives. Let's see the tension between Abraham and Sarah, his wife. Genesis 12, verse 10 to 12. No, not verse 10. Sorry, it's not Genesis 12. 6, chapter 21. Genesis 21. You can correct it on your outline. It's 21, not 12. And I'm reading from verse 10. Therefore, Sarah said to Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be here with my son, namely Isaac. And the matter was very displeasing in Abraham's sight because of his son. Was very displeasing. A translation says Abraham became very depressed because Ishmael was his son. And like I said, that thing that we read in those two verses is not just a day issue. It's not what they resolve in a day. It may have gone for a week, and Sarah might have been putting pressure on Abraham. Maybe I told you to send this woman away and her son. When are you going to do it now? Abraham said, no, but let's take this thing easy now. I can't just throw them to the street and all of that. And they could just be there for 1 week. They will be there for, we don't know how long it lasted, but we know that it's not something that they resolve. And Abraham was depressed. All that while that was going on, you and I can know that the relationship between Abraham and Sarah will not be smooth. It will not be smooth. It will not be easy for Sarah to reach out with affection to Abraham as his husband and all of those things that they used to do together. So that was a crisis situation. Okay? And crisis situation usually will not allow us to be able to come together and, move on as a home. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 1. He said, a wise woman builds a house, but the foolish woman pulls the house down with her hand. In the heat of crisis, some of us, instead of building up, what we do is to pull down. Proverbs 17 and verse 1. Better is a dry morsel with peace than a house that is full of feasting with strife. So we know that when there is strife, when there is contention, when there is anger in the home, it's not a good thing. There are things that affect potentials. And I have said to you that it may not necessarily be wrong to have disagreement. It may not necessarily be wrong to have conflict. What actually is the issue is how we respond to them. Because remember that the man that we are talking about is your husband. The woman that we are talking about is your wife. So you don't have to go for the kill. You don't have to look for the neck of your wife. You don't have to look for the neck of your husband to kill. because there's conflict. If you kill her because of this one, who are you going to fight the next time? Okay? And let's look at some benefit of conflict. Number one, it helps us to evaluate alternative options that we have. Because for as long as there is disagreement, that means the two of you are coming to the table with different options. That's what it means. And when you are coming to a table with different options, you are trying to let us see why your own option is better. So we are seeing two different sides to the argument, rather than seeing only just one angle. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is that usually it helps us to be able to take the best alternative that is available after we have evaluated options. If you don't have any options, then you are stuck. You are stuck. And you might eventually think that the option that you have is the best option, but after taking that decision, you might just suddenly discover that that option is not good enough. Well, but you can assess when you don't have something that is different from your own opinion. From your own opinion. Number three is that sometimes disagreement and conflict get us to understand how to work with ourselves much more better. Much more better. It helps us to still be able to love ourselves much more better. Because sometimes we don't really get to know ourselves until we have disagreement. Until we have disagreement. Alright? So when we have conflict, don't let us deal with personalities. Let's deal with issues. Don't relate with your wife as your enemy. Don't relate with your husband as your enemy. Know that it is just issues that you have to deal with, not the man. It's just issues that you have to deal with, not the woman. You are not in a championship fight. You are not fighting for belt. You are not in a ring. You are not contesting with anything. You are just trying to resolve issues. And this way, we will deal with the issues and just move on in our life and in our home. That's the first thing. The second thing is domination. And I've told you that domination is about the spirit of control. I've seen Christian homes and marriage that the way those homes are run, when you get into the home, you know that there is tension here. It is either the husband is dominating the wife, he's squeezing the wife. When the wife tries to make her opinion, say, who called you to this matter? Did I ask for your opinion? You know? His own is just to talk. The wife must obey. Who is looking for our own opinion? You know? And we carry that into Christian home out of our African mentality. You know, in African culture, when we want to discuss serious matter in the home, the woman must take her share outside. I remember that while we are growing up and they are talking about tough matters I will be sitting down right in the heart of the matter. My mommy must excuse us. She must go and sit down. In the African culture, a woman has no voice. She must only be seen, not heard. When the husband brother comes in to meet with them, he must quickly excuse himself because even if he has a better opinion, she must not voice it out. It's an abomination. Okay? And that is wrong. The same way, we have some homes that it is the wife that is controlling the husband. she wield so much influence over her husband. Either maybe she's probably more blessed than her husband. Maybe she's more placed, better placed. Maybe the husband is weak and all of that. But there are homes that is the woman that is exercising the control. Let's see the example of such relationship. 1 Kings chapter 21. The story of Jezebel and Ahab. Okay, in verse 4. You know the story, but let's read. So Ahab went into his house, depressed and displeased because of the word which Naboth has spoken unto him. I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he lay down on his bed and turned his face, and he would not eat. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said, what is troubling your spirit that you will not eat? So Naboth told him, Ahab told him what happened. Verse 7, Jezebel, his wife, said to him, you now exercise authority over Israel. Arise and eat, and let your heart be cheerful. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Did you hear that statement? It is Ahab that should be in the position to be saying as a king that I am going to give you. But no, it's not Ahab. It's Jezebel. Is that what you want? I'm going to give it to you. And so he went and wrote a letter. Verse 8. He wrote a letter in Ahab's name. Sealed the letter with his seal and his signature. Okay, roping up Naboth in concern. You know the end of the story. Of course, they took Naboth's vineyard. In fact, the conclusion about Ahab's life is that he did so much wickedness in Israelites, and he was encouraged by his wife to do it. That's what the Bible says concerning Ahab and Jezebel. Okay, that means it was Jezebel that actually was controlling Ahab to do those wickedness in Israel. Ahab was a very, very weak man. Whereas in Christian home, we should not see that pattern. What shall we see? Can we read 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3? Let's see what our relationship should look like in the home. First Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I want you to know that the head of every man is Christ. The head of every woman is man. And the head of Christ is God. That the head of every woman is man. The head. And we should understand that relationship correctly. Okay? In Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 21. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21. He says, we should submit to each other in the Lord. That means submission is not just for the man, for the woman alone. Even the man submit to the man. Submit to the woman when the need arises. Verse 25. Husband, love your wife just as Christ loved the church and gave up himself for her. He didn't say husband should dominate their wife. He said husband should love their wife. That's what he says. Verse 33. Nevertheless, let you of you in particular so love his own wife as himself. Again, love your wife as yourself. That's what the Bible says. It didn't say dominate your wife. It didn't say use her as toys. It didn't say use her as machine. That's not what it says. And that wife should see that they respect their husband, not control their husband. Wife are not expected to control that. They are also to respect. That's what the Bible says. And so we will have to understand these roles very well. We'll have to understand this relationship. And I told you things that you must notice when controlled spirits at work in a particular, it could be in a church. Controlled spirit could be in a church. It could be in a home. It could be in a marriage. Let's see the indices. Let's see the signals of controlled spirit working in a home. Number one, of course, there will be no submission. There will be no submission. Nobody wants to bow. The husband does not want to bow. The wife does not want to bow. There's no submission. Number two, there is no accountability. Nobody wants to give reports. Nobody wants to give answers to questions concerning his or her own life. Everybody around their life, individually and separately. Okay? There is no control. I mean, there is no submission. There is no accountability. The wife is not accountable to the husband is not accountable to the wife. The third indices that you see in a relationship where control spirit is at work is that there is a lot of manipulation and arm twisting. You know, the two people are trying to whip themselves to line. The husband says, well, if you are not going to submit, I will use what I have to control you, to force you to submission. So the man stopped putting down money. He said, well, no problem. Since you are not going to agree, no problem. Even me, I'm not going to put down money. Okay, so there's arm twisting, there's manipulation. The wife said, if you are not going to listen to me, even me, I'm going to punish you by what I have. Okay? So on and on. Domination. Number 3, deception. Several of Christian marriages has been built on deception. They have been built on deception. Some of the things that we are supposed to deal with during premarital counseling, we are not going to talk about it. We are going to hide it. Issues that are serious, issues that are crucial, issues that matters, that goes down to the foundation of that home. Because love and emotion has blinded us. And sometimes we know it. But we are not going to talk about all of those issues. Okay? Sometimes it's even after the marriage that the deception game will start between the husband and the wife. But for whatever, once this game is on, once deception game is on, either during the courtship or even in the actual marriage, we know that it's going to undermine the potentials of that home. Can we turn our Bible to Genesis 29? Genesis 29, and I'm reading from verse 25. So it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this that you have done to me? Was it not Rachel? Was it not for Rachel that I served you? Why then have you deceived me? And I'm sure that even Leah herself will know. I hope you know that. Yeah, he will know. But he took advantage. Maybe Her father must have connived with her, because I'm sure that Jacob must have spoken to Rachel and must have ignored Leah. So all of those games. And from that time, it became difficult. That marriage became difficult for Leah from that time. Can we read verse 32? So Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for he said, the Lord has surely looked on my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. You can see that it was a tough marriage for her. Her husband never accepted her because it was a marriage that was based on deception. It was based on deception. And how are you going to feel yourself if you suddenly discover a relationship? If you eventually enter into marriage and discover tough information about your husband and about your wife. Just about this time last year, I was in Ajebo for the same meeting that we are going for, and it was time to do an open sessions. They said pastor should come and share with us the problem they are having in their churches so that we could share wisdom together. And a pastor came, said, well, there's a couple in my church who are having problems. They want to divorce now. After the marriage, the wife discovered that the husband cannot produce sperm. And so she's asking for divorce. And the issue is, must we approve that divorce? Does a marriage exist? Does the man know and he didn't tell the woman and he just deceived the woman into the marriage and all of that? So it was a tough discussion. And you see, that kind of thing is not easy to deal with the moment you are in the marriage. It's not an easy thing to deal with again. Okay? But do you think it's going to be easy for any brother to divulge that kind of information to any sister he wants to marry? And we have sisters like that too who have their own challenge. And they know. But instead of sharing it, they will just keep quiet and just hope that, well, things will just work out. It's after they have gone into the marriage and all of those things will become big problems. Some will have had children in their former marriage. I mean, it may not be a marriage, maybe just a casual relationship that they had when they are in school. They won't tell their husband, they won't tell their wife. After the marriage, all of those problems will start. And it will be difficult to deal with. The wife will feel betrayed. The husband will feel betrayed. And that is why singles and engaged should know that these are some of the reasons why they should submit their relationship for oversight. Well, if we have that kind of relationship and you're already married, under God, if the two of you are ready to cry for mercy, God can sort you out. It's just that it's going to be tough. Okay, let's go. Number 4. Exploitation. Some marriages are equally based on what each other could get. What the man could get from the relationship, what the woman could get from the relationship. They want to exploit the man's resources, the goodwill of the man, the popularity of the man, the connection of the man, the name of the man. You know that there are some brother, that's what they are looking for. A sister that comes from a well-known family. They especially will scheme to get the woman. They will manipulate. They will do every kind of thing to get that kind of sister. They will pretend to. All they want is just an access, especially if that is the only woman, if that's the only girl or the only child of the parents, and the parents are very wealthy. You know, if you marry such a woman, you are the one. The moment the parents die, you are in control. You are in charge of the property. So they will do anything. They will do anything to marry such sister, only to have access to the property of the parents, only to have access to the goodwill of the man. The wife of Job seems to be in that category by the kind of comments that we had her made when Job faced that crisis. In Job chapter 2 and verse 9, the wife said to him, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." But she said to her, "You speak as one of foolish women speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God? Shall we not accept adversity?" In all of these, Job did not sin with his sleep. That is not what we expect from a woman that her husband was going through tough times. We expect such woman to give her husband comfort. We expect such woman to give her husband, motivation, encouragement. Not harass him, not insult him, not still wear him out. That is not. And that's why I said several times, what we go through in marriage sometimes just reveal our heart concerning our wife. It just reveal our heart concerning our husband. When marriage is based on external things that we will have to benefit from, the money that we'll have to benefit from, the goodwill that we'll have to benefit from, even if it has to be built on external beauty, say, Victoria pupa tori eni mo se fe, is good. But time of hot sun may come that will darken the skin of Victoria one day, that her skin will become black like that of Buki. What are you going to do? Okay, you say it's because my wife is beautiful, that's why I married her. Well, what if is involved in accident and the beauty just disappear in one flash? What are you going to do? If you say it's because your husband is rich, that's why you married him. If things turn around and he has to face the challenge of Job, what are you going to do? That's why you cannot base marriage on all of those externals, because it will be an exploitative relationship. Okay? Proverbs 17 and verse 17. He said, "A friend love at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." That means your husband must be a friend that must love you at all times. Your wife must be a friend that must love you at all times. When situation is bad, when situation is good, they must love you. It's easy to say some of these things with mouth unless you are there. And you see, that's part of what we must know. Nobody prays for adversity in marriage. Nobody prays for challenge in marriage. But you and I know that they do come. They come. And that is when our love for each other is tested. That's when our love for each other is tested. Number 5. Hypocrisy. And what is hypocrisy? Hypocrisy is when we pretend to be what we are not. And you see, we have marriages and relationships that are based on hypocritical character and attitudes. Let us see an example of that. In 2 Samuel, we are told the story of the affair between Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, and David. You know, they had an affair and Bathsheba became pregnant. And she knew, because she must have confronted David with that pregnancy. After that pregnancy, you know that David sent for Uriah to come back home. And I'm sure that Uriah must have seen a wife. The wife must have heard about Uriah coming back home from war front. He didn't see anything. She didn't see anything about her relationship with David to Uriah. He didn't mention it to Uriah. He didn't mention about her relationship with David. He didn't mention about the pregnancy to the husband. Okay? You know that Uriah died believing that he has a very good and loving wife. He has a very faithful wife. Do you know that that was how Uriah died? Uriah was never aware about her relationship with David. So she died assuming that she had a faithful wife. Okay? Uriah died. But let's look at the response of Uriah the response of Bathsheba after Uriah died. Verse 26, 2 Samuel 11:26. When the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. Why is she mourning? I think that woman was actually praying that Uriah should die too. What do you think? Because if you're already involved in an adulterous relationship, you are already pregnant, you have the opportunity to tell your husband, you are not telling him and all of that, then there is a sinister motive that obviously you are praying that Uriah should die so that you could marry the king yourself. So why do you mourn? If you really love the man as you are pretending to do now, you should have confessed your sin to him. You should have told him about your relationship. All right? Let's see another one. Genesis 27. And verse 1 to 4. It came to pass. I'm reading from Genesis 27 now. 1 to 4. And it came to pass when Isaac was old, his eyes were so dim that he could not see, that he called Esau, the older son, and said to him, "My son." And he answered him, "Here I am." Then he said, "Behold, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now therefore, please take upon your quiver and the bow. Go out to the field and hunt game for me. And make me a savory food such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, and that my soul may bless you." Verse 4. If it is true that Isaac indeed really loved Jacob, why must he tie his blessing to the meal? Does it make sense to you? For the one you love, must you tie your blessing to food? That relationship is hypocritical. And you see, long after Jacob has stolen the blessing, when Esau showed up and said, "Please pray for me, I still need the blessing," the man said, "Sorry, wọ́n ti fowóúnjẹ kó gbogbo blessing yẹn lọ." the man that brought, actually the blessing was for the highest bidder. It was not for it was not for Esau. It was for the highest bidder. Okay, so several times you see some wife pretend that they love their husband. You see some husband pretend that they love their wife. Yet they are doing something behind the back that the husband doesn't know about. The wife is having an affair behind the back that the husband is knowing about. And we all still come back. That way, we are reserving our energy somewhere else, not here. Number 6. Alienation. That is acting separately from each other. We are alienating our wife. We are alienating our husband. That's what it means. Okay. Let's see the story of Sister Abigail in 2 Samuel with a relationship with her husband. It's not a good relationship, but let's look at it. In 1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 18, Abigail was going to negotiate on behalf of her husband, on behalf of her husband's business, and she would not tell her husband. She just went and met David alone without telling the man. Well, we might begin to discuss and to debate that issue. Well, that's wisdom, because even if you tell the woman, even if you tell the man is a drunkard, he will not contribute anything meaningful. But that's not the best situation. Verse 18. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep already dressed, 5 shares of roasted grain, 100 of cluster raisins, and 200 of cake of figs, and loaded them. And she said to her servant, "Go before me, see, I am coming after you." But she did not even tell her husband, Nabal. She did not tell her husband about the whole thing. And that's a tough. What she was going to do was a very, you may not understand it. It was a big, it was not a small talk. It's a big talk that involved the destiny of their home and the business of the husband. But she will not tell the husband. Okay? She has alienated her husband. Okay? That way, we could not maximize when we individually and separate on issues that are crucial and important. We could not maximize the marriage potentials like that. Can we see Genesis 27 that we read earlier on, the story of Isaac? You see that Isaac called Jacob. Let's read again. Verse 1. When Isaac was going to call Jacob, he said, "My son Jacob." Did you see that? My son Esau. Did you see that? In verse 5. In verse 5. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt game and to bring it. So Rebekah spoke to Jacob. Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, "Indeed, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, bring game and make savory food for me, that I may eat and bless you in the presence of the Lord. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice to what I command." Did you see it now? They had already split the son between themselves. To Isaac, Esau was his son. To Rebekah, Jacob was his son. So they had already alienated themselves. And that means, you know that we have it in our homes. When a correct a son, one of the children, when the mother said, "Don't mind your father, Jare," that's the way you always do. Don't my woman, daddy alone. You know? When you say that, and you are not coming together to tackle that issue together, you are breaking the potential instead of maximizing. And Those guys, Esau and Jacob, they know that thing did not just happen like that. They grew up, understanding, appreciating that my father loves me more than my brother. My mother loves me more than, so they're always playing on it. Remember that Jacob was already sitting. Jacob is not used to outside life. He's a little bit cool than Esau. So he's always sitting at home with the mother. So anytime my man married on shedding, so he grew to get the affection of the mother rather than Esau that was always going out running after rabbit and squirrel, that he will not be anywhere near the mother. So they both know that their father and their mother, they will act separately when it comes to issue. And I ask you, must parents act like that when it comes to the parenting of their children? And we are not just talking about children here. We are talking about several other things that will come up. You know that there are men who want to buy car. They want to buy car for the family. They say it's a surprise. They will not tell the wife. They will just bring that car home. Say, hey, sweetheart, I have surprise for you. Say, we surprise. So when have you been planning this? That you are not telling us. Okay, God will help you. So this is your decision, no problem. Okay. I know that it could be very challenging. After our wedding and we are looking for a house, I will go out from morning to look for a house. By the time I come back in the evening, and I was telling my wife, I said, okay. Did it have car park? I said, car park, bawo. She car park, la rent in it. You are looking for car park. You don't even have the car yet. You are asking me if the house no get car park. We said, sorry, I'm not going. I'll go and look for another one. No, if I come back again, say, the house get gate. I say, no gate. Oh, say, sorry, I can't leave a house that's no gate. One day I say, no problem. You and me, we will go together today. Okay, so I know that acting together on an issue could be difficult. Okay, but it's better. It's better. Because sometimes we get, like I've said earlier on, sometimes we get best decision. Okay, number 7. Satanic as the devil will fight us as Christians. The devil will fight our home. He will fight over our children's destiny. He will never want to allow us to maximize the potentials of our home. Ephesians 4:26 and 27. Be angry but sin not. 26, not 25. 26, 27. Be angry but sin not. Do not allow sun to go down while you are still angry, and give the devil a foothold. When we give the devil a foothold in our home, he will do a lot of damage. He will do a lot of damage. 1 Thessalonians, remember, the moment Adam and Eve settled down in the Garden of Eden, who was their first visitor? Who was their first visitor? That was the first guest they received. Sadly enough, they didn't know how to entertain him. They gave him a good chair to sit down for discussion. And the man wreaked terrible havoc. He will still do that today. If we welcome him in our home, he will still do that today if we welcome him in our house and give him a good seat. We must learn to checkmate the devil in our home and over our marriage. We must learn to checkmate the devil. Okay. Number 8. That's not in your paper, so you'll have to write it. Number 8. Interference. Outside interference can affect our marriage such that we may not be able to maximize. We may not be able to maximize. I'm reading Matthew 19, verse 4 to 5. And he answered them and said, in fact, from verse 3, he says, the Pharisee also came to Jesus, testing him, saying to him, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for just any reason? Verse 4. And he answered them and said to them, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female? And for this reason, a man shall leave his father and the mother and be joined to the wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then, they are no longer two but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate. Let man not separate. Any man. Whether it's your brother, whether it's your father, whether it's your uncle, whether it's your parents, whether it's your pastor, any man, not separate. But in our culture today, we have seen home that has been separated, Christian homes and marriage, that has been divided, separated because of external relationship. In fact, the family husband would tell the woman, if you don't behave, we will come and pack your load out ourselves. And they will sure do it. They will sure do it. And even we are not helping the matters. When we should have stepped in and helped the woman, when we should have stepped in and just deliver our wife from the torment and the affliction of our family, we will not talk. They will be harassing our wife up and down right in our presence. We are not going to say anything. It just shows to you what they are going to do to your wife if you are gone. There's no problem. And it is you that you will say it. I said, no, sorry. Sorry. Even if you don't like your wife, don't put her under the control of your family. Oh. When you are gone, they will show her pepper with your children. Okay? I remember the first time we bought our car, and it's my wife that bought the car, not me. Oh. I didn't know. I think about 2 or 3 days later, my own senior sister just show up. We didn't tell her. She just came to greet us and met the cars. Say one day, say you will come. Don't say that. Quickly, I declare the manifesto there. So that even if you are going to pray on the car, make sure you know the kind of prayer you are going to pray. Okay. If pastors should be careful. Well, because even it's proper for husband and wife to attend the same church. Because you know that pastors have a very strong influence over their members. When husband and wife go to a separate church, the wife is holding allegiance to one pastor. The husband is holding allegiance to one pastor. It could be very difficult. Okay? Well, once a sister marries, she must remove her allegiance from her pastor and give it to her husband, though. Even if she does not like that, well, that's the right thing to do. If pastors will come into the arrangement, it should not be to scatter, it should be to bring together. That's the only thing that's the only condition that will bring pastor in. Okay. Apart from that, apart from the fact that men should not interfere, even things should not interfere. But we have all of those things interfering today. Our work, our interest interfere, our vocation, ministry interfere in marriage. A man can be gone for ministry for days and for months in ministry, and it's good for a man to do ministry for God, but there must always be a balance such that that ministry does not come in between. Today, all of us are engaged, we are involved in work that puts demand upon our lives. We work where our work demand 100% commitment. So you go home very early in the morning, you come back very late in the night. By the time you come back, you're already useless to your house. You're already useless to your home. You're already useless to your marriage. So what we are giving to our home is just residual commitment, leftover commitment, leftover strength, leftover attention. All of those things does not help us to maximize the potentials of our marriage. Well, the same way, while we cannot stop a man from doing ministry, while we cannot stop a man from working, we must always try to strike that balance. So if you work where your work take all of your time, the weekends that you are going to be in the house, don't go to the street and say you are going to watch ball. Don't say every Saturday you will be on the street attending one marriage, attending one burial ceremony. When are you going to stay with your own family and let them and build the home together? Okay? Interference. Number 9. Environmental instability. Our world is not a stable world again. Economic instability, political instability has displaced and broken our potentials as Christian home. Because the economy is tough today, the husband can just look and say, whoa, I'm going to Qatar. I want to go and work. And the Qatar that the man is going to go for 2 years. And it doesn't matter that the woman that's leaving behind, very well, to my own, I may be wrong, but please permit me. That a man is just getting married 1 month, 2 months. You say you are traveling to America and you are not taking your wife. Why did you get married? And you are going to leave that woman and leave her in a tight corner for years, 5 years, 4 years, 10 years. Well, is that you leave the marriage first and go and sort yourself out? See, America, America, that's my own. That you are going to go and marry and say you are going to look for one money and dump the woman here. If you face me in counseling room, I will tell you no way. And if you insist, I will tell the woman not to marry you in her own interest. In her own interest. And the issue is that in those culture, a man that is married and traveling there, his life is dicey. He can't survive it. Okay, let's read the book of Ruth. Now it came to pass in the days the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem of Judah went to dwell in the country of Moab. He and his wife and 2 sons. So they left. The whole family left Bethlehem for Moab. See what happened. Verse 3. Then Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Verse 5. Both Mahom and Chilion also died. So the woman survived. Her 2 sons and her husband died. Okay, you see how economic instability just scattered the whole home. And we still have it today. We have it especially in this day, in this Nigerian time. We have several marriages that have been shattered because of economic instability. We have religious crisis in the north. Several things has happened to Christian homes. Some home has lost their wives, some has lost children, some has lost all of those things. And that is why we will have to, on our part, prepare for the challenge ahead. And the challenge is this. Spiritually, we should prepare that whatever will happen to our home, God will equip us and fortify us to survive it. That's number one. Because the issue is that our world is not stable again. You can get a job at the beginning of the month and lose it at the end of the month. There's no guarantee anywhere. And that is why you must make sure that you have a sound spiritual base that could checkmate all of those things over your life. That could checkmate all of those things over your life. And we must be engaging ourselves. You know, I told my wife, where God gave us some big opportunity in our ministry that we're enjoying now. So I was bringing her in as we are doing all of those things. One night we just finished talking and I told her, well, I hope you see the way I'm doing this thing. I hope you see the way I'm running it now. Said I'm seeing it. Said, well, I don't know. So today, if I die, open bar ministry, you know, they said, shut up. I know that's what you are going to say. I know that's where you are going. You must be engaging your wife. Fill her in. Don't run the show alone. Don't be the superman of the house. Don't be the superwoman of the house. Engage your wife. When you engage her, you empower her so that she's not suddenly confused in an emergency. The emergency may not be that you are going to die. The emergency may not be that, listen, my own wife became invalid to the point that she cannot even run her own business. I have to be running that business for months. I have to keep that business going for her. But you see, if she has not been involving me, if she has not been engaging me, it will be too difficult. That business will have gone by the time she came back to life. So don't just run the show in your home. Don't run your show individually. You must know what is going on in your lives as husband and wife. So that in case, don't do a business that your wife don't know about. Say you are partnering with one of your brother. You are partnering with one of your friends. If you have an emergency, see, that money is gone. Your wife can't trace it again. If you are doing business secretly that your wife don't know, if something happened to you, that money is gone. Nobody will come out and say, this is your money, this is your husband's money. Who will come? Your junior brother. You will come and put down your money and say, okay, oh, it's your talk, new business. In fact, you will tell that your husband is owing me money. Oh, are you going to pay? That's what he's going to come and tell you. So learn to engage yourself together. Learn to engage yourself together. You know? And finally, lack of commitment on our part to build. We have commitment to build our career. That's why all of us men trying to write professional exam, do well, even women. You are committed to your business, but you don't have the same commitment to your marriage. You can do everything for your business, you can do your ministry, but you will never have that commitment for your wife. You know, last week Sunday, not this Sunday, last week Sunday, one of my leaders came home in the night with the girl she wants to marry and took time to cancel them and all of that. We slept late after praying and all of that. In the morning, they had to wake up very early in the morning to go back to Lagos on Monday. So when they woke up, I had to walk them down to the park in the morning, very early in the morning. So they left. Today, my wife will be going out very early in the morning too. I didn't wait for her to ask. I said, don't worry, I'll walk you. Because If I say I'm not say I know èmi nìkan ló ní. It's only me you will not have time for. If they are your people now, maybe you will follow them. Abi, it's only me. Èmi náà need counsel o. Even me too, I need counseling, you know. Okay, but several of other things. We are giving our community as pastors. We give our commitment to the members of our church. We give our commitment to our leader, but never our wife. We give our commitment to our business, never our own people. Never our marriage, never our children. We give our commitment to everything. Business, we are there. But when it comes to building and maximizing the potentials of our home, we are never there. We are never there. And we just assume that that thing will just happen. No. It doesn't happen by wishful thinking. It happens through serious diligence. Serious. And we have to know that anything you are not committed to will ultimately degenerate. Anything that you are not committed to will fall apart, will not grow. It's not a cause, it's a reality. If you are not committed to your home, you will never maximize the potentials. Spiritually, if you are not committed. Financially, if you are not committed. Physically, if you are not committed. Psychologically, emotionally, if you are not committed to it. What you are not committed to, ultimately, we may say, maybe I'm working because of them. Maybe I'm not. At least they are the one that will spend the money. When I go make the money, it's true. They are the one that will spend the money. But you see, money is just one thing that helps us to build a home. It's not everything that you need to build a home. It's not everything. If it is everything, men that have big money today have scattered home. Why didn't the money help to build it? The money that you are running to get, some people have it, they lost their home. So if it's money that it would, such home will still be intact. If it's just money that you need to build a home, that's money. Okay, so these are the barriers and the challenge that will not allow us to maximize our marriage potentials. And I'm sure that to know is to be able to checkmate them and to handle them properly in our lives. And I believe that as we do, God will help us to build marriage that can affect our generation, marriage that we are going to enjoy, marriage that is going to glorify God, that is going to be a blessing to His church. God will help us to build it in the name of our Lord Jesus.